Hello and welcome to the most northerly English circuit on the TCR UK calendar. We're here at Croft for rounds 11 and 12 of TCR UK, and as the season draws to a close, this is our penultimate race meeting. Now, Dan Lloyd leads the way after his early season dominance, currently sitting 78 points ahead of Ollie Taylor, who himself has been piling on the pressure at the top. Dan Lloyd needs to outscore Ollie by 13 points to win the title today, or it'll all come down to the final race meetings at Donington Park. The lines have been drawn. Let battle commence.
In terms of my development, this has been a new year for me, new style of racing. So yeah, there's been a lot to learn, new cars, new format of racing, new championship, and certainly a new challenge. Didn't quite know what to expect coming into the start of the year, but yeah, now we're sat here second in the points. Certainly going to be giving it everything, need to get as many points as we can ahead of Dan to keep the fight alive and see what happens going into Donington.
I've had a strong run all year and only been off the podium once and had quite a few wins, and you know, it's the penultimate round and I could still lose it, it's still that possibility. So the championship fight is still there. I've got a good lead, but you know, it's motorsport, anything can happen, and Ollie's been strong everywhere as well, so we can't drop the ball now. We need to stay focused and make sure we get the strong points.
Well, Ollie Taylor out-qualified Dan Lloyd in yesterday's qualifying session, but Andreas Bäckman sits on pole position. Will Ollie gain some points on Dan? We're about to find out with race one and our race commentator.
Well, there is confirmation of your grid then. Andreas Bäckman with the fastest lap in qualifying, 6/10 clear of Oliver Taylor, but because of changing conditions, we expect those lap times to be a lot closer in the race. Stuart Lyons with his season best qualifying position in third, and Jessica Beckman in fourth position, already a podium finisher once this year. Can she do it again here at Croft? Finlay Crocker and Lewis Kent make up the third row of the grid. Dan Lloyd will start from the back of the grid after a 5-place grid penalty for contact at Alton Park last time around. The revs start to rise, the lights go out, we're away and racing, and it's a good start by the looks of it from Beckman from pole position. Ollie Taylor, I think he's going to have to slot through into second position. Finlay Crocker's made a good start behind as well, and Jessica Beckman going backwards slightly as they head down in towards Glurbo for the first time. Beckman leads the way, Taylor second, line third, Crocker into fourth, and Dan Lloyd is already fifth. Dan Lloyd has had a mega start and has got past 3 cars already. Jessica Beckman really didn't get a good start, and nor, to be honest, did Lewis Kent. So it's Beckman leads the mountain chicane for the first time, down the back straight towards Tower. Darryl Wilson there, the first driver to have to skip the chicane. He clearly found himself on the wrong side of the road there. And they're down towards Tower Corner now, though. Another good overtaking opportunity. Does anyone try it? Jessica Beckman up the inside of Wilson towards the back of the field, but she can't quite make that one work. Lewis Kent bringing up the rear. That's a shame. Lewis was really hoping he'd make a good start. He tends to get off the line well. That was not the case here this morning. So out of Jim Clark S's, in towards Barcroft they go. And this is the section of the circuit that Ollie Taylor reckons will suit the new Civic very well. Dan Lloyd is absolutely absolutely flying though. He's fourth now, ahead of Finlay Crocker as they go through sunny in and sunny out. So Dan Lloyd really going about this the right way here, rather than just sort of tiptoeing around trying to avoid drama. He is absolutely going for it. Not avoiding drama though is Darryl Wilson, who runs wide on the exit of sunny out and will fall right to the back of the field. So through the complex we come for the first time of Bassett. There is the man on the move, Dan Lloyd into fourth position. But remember, to wrap up the title here today, he has to outscore Ollie Taylor. He can't finish behind him, so he has to get in front of the man that is currently running second in the race if he wants to take the title here at Croft, rather than having it go right down to the wire at Donington Park. The lead gap is 1.1 seconds between Beckman and Taylor as Andreas sets the fastest lap of the race. Taylor to Lyons is 9 tenths. Lyons to Lloyd is less than a car length though, and the West Coast Racing Volkswagen Golf TCR car is absolutely on the rear bumper of the Maximum Motorsport prepared Cupra as they go out of the chicane and down back straight. Now this is looking like Dan Lloyd is setting up for a move here. He pulls to the left-hand side of the road. Stuart Lyons is always going to defend down into the braking zone, but Dan sees a gap on the inside and goes for it. Now remember, these two made contact at Alton Park. In fact, it was the contact between these two drivers that led to the penalty for Dan Lloyd. So there's no love lost and they've rubbing paved again. Dan Lloyd on the grass, that is not the kind of risk that he wants to be taking, but this was the risk that he was always going to have to take. And Stuart really doesn't care all that much about the fact that Dan Lloyd is the championship leader, and Dan Lloyd is all over the place. He's up the inside down towards Barcroft. Oh my word, that was some really top-notch car control there for Dan Lloyd. He very nearly lost control of the car, but he held on to it. And Stuart Lyons holds on to the position, but only by the skin of his teeth. Finlay Crocker was running wide in the background as well, but Finlay not losing a position to Jessica Bäckman just yet. Jessica is there with them, ready to take advantage if it all kicks off in front of her. Through the complex again, Dan Lloyd with a better exit through the right-hander, but he's on the outside line. Could this open the door maybe for Finlay Crocker to join in the fun? Not on the way into the corner. Dan Lloyd, of course, looking for the exit out of the corner, and he pulls himself along Stuart Lyons now, but he's on the outside line again, down towards the first corner. The drag race towards Clermont begins. Dan Lloyd dragging himself ever further alongside. He's on the outside line into the first corner. Stuart Lyons is on the inside. Who's bravest on the brakes? Stuart gets to the corner first. Dan Lloyd looking to switch back, but can't quite do it. Stuart Lyons, he's not the easiest of people to overtake on the track. He will defend a position like his life depends on it. And Stuart, let's not forget, is looking for his first ever TCR podium. He came very close at Brands Hatch until he was overtaken late on by Howard Fuller, who at the time was driving the car that Andreas Bäckman's in this race. Dan Lloyd is back up the inside of Stuart Lyons, and this time might have done it. Oh, there's more contact. There, Stuart Lyons is off. Stuart Lyons off into the field. I think it's broken the front suspension on the Cupra. There was contact between these two once again. And now is there damage? What's that front right corner like? The car suddenly seemed to veer left. Stuart's going to try and drag it back onto the track. I fear the car might be wounded, but Dan Lloyd is through. Now, what is Dan's car like? Is there any damage to the rear left corner of the VW? We've seen similar contact with the VWs caused from problems in the past. Remember, Andreas Bäckman sustained damage from a very similar looking bit of contact that he had up at the hairpin there, but Dan seems to have got away with it for the time being, so Dan is now into third place. I'm sure there'll be a discussion after that one though. Incidentally, that contact that Darryl Wilson had, I think, was with Lewis Kent, because that incident is being investigated. This now becomes the closest battle on the track. This is Finlay Crocker trying to hold on to this fourth position from Jessica Bäckman, who started in fourth place. Finlay was fifth, and Finlay we saw got a really good start off the line. Jessica not so quick away, and so they swapped positions at the start. Now Jessica would rather like to get that position back if all possible. Through Clermont, they go 3/10 of a second apart at the line, but it's a visible gap really that we'll monitor now throughout the rest of the race. Speaking of gaps, the gap between Taylor and Lloyd is coming down. It came down to the tune of about 0.6 of a second on the previous lap, so Dan Lloyd is now only 2.7 seconds behind Ollie Taylor, who in turn is 2.7 seconds behind Andreas Bäckman. Top three fairly equidistantly spaced for the time being, as they run back through Tower Corner again, approaching half race distance. The run towards the Jim Clark Essex begins, and it seems like for the first half of this lap, Finlay Crocker has been able to put a bit of a gap on Jessica, who had that emotional podium finish at Brands Hatch in the second race at Brands Hatch. That was her best finish of the season so far. She is actually only 2 points behind Lewis Kent in their fight for fourth position in the championship. So she is, if things finish as they are now, she's going to move back into fourth place in points. But with Lewis Kent running down in seventh position, actually, it looks unlikely that he's going to be able to beat her in this one. So Jessica Bäckman looking good for that fourth place in the championship. She is looking for fourth place in this race, if it's all possible, though. Andreas Bäckman with a 27.8, but Ollie Taylor with a 28.5. Ollie just can't keep up with Andreas. The gap between second and third is under 1 second for the first time. 6 tenths is all that separates the top two in the championship. They go toe-to-toe on so many occasions, particularly through the second half of the year. They had a great battle at Brands Hatch. They had that rather controversial battle at Castle Combe where they made contact on the last lap and Dan Lloyd won the race on the road and was later penalised. And then they had another wheel-to-wheel exchange at Alton Park where Ollie actually got around the outside of Dan down at Island Bend, which was a really brave move. And it showed just how seriously Ollie is taking this championship challenge. He's a bit wide into Tower. It almost looks as though Ollie Taylor was struggling for tyre wear here, more than some of the other cars out on the track, which is not necessarily what we expected. Through the Jim Clark S's they go again. Dan Lloyd sizing up to the prey. Championship rivals going toe-to-toe once again here at Croft as they make their way down towards Sonny and Ollie Taylor. You can see there the car did not want to turn in. I do think Ollie is struggling for front-end grip. Dan Lloyd, on the other hand, really seems to have a car that is still underneath him. He's forcing Ollie to defend heavily down towards the complex. This is another part of the circuit where you really need the front of the car to be working well, and Taylor runs out wide. Lloyd almost alongside, and Dan has to be careful how he does this. Any contact could be disastrous. Again, he thought about going up the inside of the hairpin. Taylor runs out wide though, and this is Dan Lloyd's opportunity. He gets up the inside line. Taylor will have to fight him down towards turn number 1, but Ollie will have the inside line for the corner. Another drag race across the start-finish line officially as they cross the timing beam. Dan Lloyd was 67 thousandths of a second behind, but he's on the wrong side of the road into the braking zone. Taylor on the inside, clicks the curve and stays in front. Great driving from Ollie Taylor there. And let us not forget, though, in the midst of all of this battling going on behind the championship, Andreas Bäckman is potentially only a lap away from his first ever TCR race victory and becoming the 4th different winner of the season. But all eyes are on this fight for second place. That is not, I don't think, close enough to attack down towards Tower. Taylor breaks a bit earlier than the Golf. Now you can see Dan Lloyd's car is starting to scrabble for grip a bit on the exit of the corner. Their lap times are now over 2 seconds away from what their best laps were early on in the race. So they really are struggling for grip here, but that's just the nature of the abrasive circuit here at Croft. Ollie Taylor, well, has he done enough? There are still a couple of overtaking opportunities left. This was a potential one down at Sunny. More than likely, if the move's going to come, it's going to happen in the last few corners. Andreas Bäckman, though, is only 2 corners away from his first appearance on the top step of the podium in TCR racing. In fact, in any form of circuit racing, this is going to be a really emotional moment for the Bäckmans. They've had podiums, both Andreas and Jessica, but this is the first victory in TCR UK for Andreas Bäckman. A fantastic lights-to-flag victory for the Swedish driver. What is going to happen for second position? It's going to be Ollie Taylor, I think. Ollie Taylor flashes the lights, and that was a pivotal result because he takes 5 more valuable championship points out of Dan Lloyd, who comes home in 3rd place. Finley Crocker fends off Jessica Bäckman for 4. Lewis Kent will be a couple of laps down in the end after his pit lane visit in 6th. Stuart Lyons will be 7th. Darrell Wilson all the way down in 8th position.
I pushed everything I had all the time, and I was, especially in the beginning, I was worried, and also in the end, I saw Dan was catching Ollie, so I tried to just do my own thing and keep tires alive until the end. I have been very close a couple of times this year, and I definitely had the speed, but never done really a complete race. So I'm really pleased with this.
The second race of the weekend here at Croft. It is a jumbled grid with the reversal of the second fastest times in qualifying. So here is confirmation of your grid then. Ollie Taylor, the man who is 71 points away from the championship lead, lines up on pole position with the similar car of Finley Crocker alongside him. Then it's the pair of Bäckmans. Race 1 winner Andreas is ahead of Jessica on the second row of the grid. And directly behind them in 5th on the grid is the championship leader, their teammate Daniel Lloyd. The green flag waves at the back of the grid. The final race of the weekend here from Croft is about to get underway. Ollie Taylor and Finley Crocker on the front row of the grid. The lights go out, we're away and racing, and Ollie Taylor makes a good start from pole position. Not such a good start from Finley Crocker though, so Andreas Bäckman may be able to challenge him down towards turn 1. No, I think Crocker will hang on, so it's now down to the 3 West Coast racing cars to sort it out for 3rd position. Andreas on the inside, Jessica on the outside, and Dan Lloyd slips on the inside of his teammate. Lewis Kent is in there as well, trying to follow him through. Oh, he gets all out of shape though. So it's Taylor that leads the way. It's Crocker 2nd. Andreas Bäckman is 3rd. Dan Lloyd making 1 position. Oh, Dan Lloyd's off! Dan Lloyd off onto the grass. I don't believe it! I think he hit the tyre stack and he's gone off the road. Dan Lloyd has finished every race so far this year. those tyre stacks through the first few corners, if you clip them, you can very easily damage your front suspension. There you can see the damage to the front right corner. Now it is imperative that Ollie Taylor wins this race, because if he wins it, he takes 40 points out of that 71-point cushion that is currently enjoyed by Dan Lloyd. Dan is not going to score, and Ollie Taylor is scarpering away up the road. So Taylor leads the way, Crocker is second, Andreas Bäckman is in third position, and fourth place for Jessica Bäckman, with Kent in fifth and Stuart Lyons rounding the field out in sixth. But there is the man who many people laugh, really, when you say that coming into this weekend, Ollie Taylor could still win the championship. Well, here we are in a position, we've still got 18.5 minutes left of this race to get through, but Ollie Taylor has just been handed a golden opportunity to really take the fight to Dan Lloyd at the final round. Across the line they go. He enjoys 1.4 second lead over this battle for second place. Finley Crocker is second, and Andreas Bäckman in third position as they work their way now through Clervaux for the second time. Fifth is Lewis Kent, as I said. So Lewis, hopefully at the moment at least, the car seems to be working okay after its issues that it had in race number 1. I would say, though, that Andreas Bäckman is sensing an opportunity for another race victory, because if he can get past Finley Crocker here, there's every chance to go after the race leader. Lewis Kent in the background was going up the inside of Jessica Bäckman and goes through. So Lewis Kent is also making the progress that we expected him to in race 1. Kent is now into fourth position, and he will now also be applying the pressure to Andreas Bäckman in front. Through the Jim Clark S's they go. Lewis is sensing an opportunity for a podium here. Well, Dan Lloyd looks back at his car in disgust. Now let's see if we can see what happens here. Dan Lloyd there, the grey car with the green flashes on the inside line, just behind Andreas Bäckman. He turns into the first part of the chicane. You can see the wheel is broken already, the suspension is broken already. He must have hit the tyres, and off he goes, pitched onto the grass. Dan Lloyd out of the race for the first time all season. Ollie Taylor trying to manage this gap. He's not scooting away, he's just on a personal best lap though, but we wait to see whether or not the race comes to some of the cars behind, because in race 1, Ollie really suffered with front tyre wear. Crocker is second, third place is Andreas Bäckman, not actually applying quite the level of pressure I expected him to, and behind, look, Lewis Kent, something's happened to Lewis Kent this lap, because he was fourth, and he's now back down into sixth place. Jessica Bäckman and Stuart Lyons have both gone through, and he's, oh, is this a return of the clutch issues maybe, because Lewis Kent appears to have slowed down now. He's really off the pace, and he's just as things were starting to come good for him, he's dropped right down the order now, and he appears maybe to be heading into the pit lane. So the leaders turn their way through the complex again for the fourth time of asking, and unfortunately Lewis Kent out of the running, but we've still got the rest of the field running very close together. Stuart Lyons takes an interesting line through the middle part of the complex there, and in now towards the hairpin he goes again. The leaders come through, and the race lead, well, it was 1.5 seconds for Ollie Taylor. It is now 1.8 seconds. There's Lewis Kent, and it looks unfortunately like the clutch issues from race 1 have made a return. I can't see anything else that's visibly wrong with the car. It's certainly not going as quickly as it should have done. Now this is the fight for second place, and Finley Crocker is really having to make this Honda Civic a very, very wide one indeed, because he's got the older shaped Civic breathing down his neck now. There is Lewis Kent in the pit lane, and we are hearing it's possibly punctured. That's it. Oh yes, there's no possibly about it. That tyre is definitely punctured. So the good news is it's not a return of the clutch issues, so he should be able to get back out there on track. So back down through the left-right at the Jim Clark S's, the Rise and Connect car of Finley Crocker. Already a double race victor this year. That car is in the hands of Ashley Sutton last time out. It's good to see that Finley Crocker, and who owns the car of course, can get out there and put in good results as well. And his first podium result of the season could be in the offing. Can it be a second place? Will it be third? Will Andreas Bäckman go through? If Andreas were to get through now, then he might even still have time to chase down Ollie Taylor. But this man, Ollie Taylor, really is driving sublimely in this race. He's doing exactly what Andreas did in the first race, pulling away, managing his tyres well, and just taking advantage of the shuffling and the battling going on behind him. He is nearly 3 seconds clear now of the Finley Crocker and Andreas Bäckman battle going on behind him. Ollie Taylor is most definitely going to be a championship contender. As I work it out, my maths always have been pretty rubbish. I reckon 30 points will be all that separate the two of them going into the penultimate round at Donington Park, or the penultimate race, the final 2 races of the season. For second place, though, it couldn't be much closer here between Finley Crocker and Andreas Bäckman. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, by the way. This is lap number 13 of what is going to be a 14-lap race. the fight for second place that is providing most of the entertainment, because Ollie Taylor is looking ever more comfortable out in front now, 3.7 seconds ahead of Finlay Crocker and Andreas Bäckman behind. Andreas Bäckman, well, how much of a risk is he going to be willing to take? Can he find a way through into second position, I wonder? Through the left, through the right, and again, through the first half of the lap, Crocker seems able to pull away. It's through the second half of the lap where Andreas just starts to reel him back in again. But the trouble is, he sort of gets to Finlay just at the end of the lap, and he really needs to be closer to him at this point so as to be able to really mount the pressure through the final sequence of corners of the complex. That's where I think he's most likely to make the move, but he's never quite close enough to really sort of get Finlay on the ropes and make him sort of force him into a mistake. About to start the final lap of racing here for the TCR UK Championship. What has been an intriguing penultimate round of the championship at Croft. The championship is, by the looks of it, going to go down to the wire at Donington Park between Ollie Taylor and Dan Lloyd. It's going to be a much slimmer margin for Dan Lloyd than we ever expected it would be. And Ollie Taylor, who's been well up for this, he's been telling us all year long, I'm still in this, even when he was getting on for 100 points behind the championship leader mid-season. And, well, we do believe him now, because he's put in a storming performance this weekend, a second place in race one. He's only half a lap away or so what will be his second victory of the year. The second place in race one was his third second place finish, but he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be his 9th finish inside the top 3. It's that wonderful consistency that has kept Ollie Taylor in the mix for the championship. It's all well and good going out there and winning all of those races like Dan did in the first half of the year, but you've got to have the consistency to go with it, and that's what Ollie Taylor has done. He's had no points penalties either, no grid penalties to be applied either, so Ollie Taylor has kept it nice and clean all season long, and he's now in the back half of the championship starting to reap the rewards for that. Down towards the final complex of corners he goes, and Ollie Taylor in the Honda Civic, where he changed cars of course before the third meeting at Brands Hatch. I think that's had a lot to do with this real upturn in performance. The newer FK7 Civic, he fell in love with it immediately and was straight away on the pace. And could it carry him to the inaugural TCR UK Championship? We'll find out at Donington Park, because with a race victory here at Croft in race number 2, Ollie Taylor moves himself right into championship contention. Finlay Crocker gets his first ever TCR podium, and given just how glum he was last time he raced in the championship at Castle Coob, let's hope that puts a smile on the very confident Scotsman's face. Here is confirmation of the result. It's Ollie Taylor from Finlay Crocker, your top 2. It's actually a Honda Civic Type R, 1, 2, 3. Jessica Beckman comes home in 4th position. Stuart Lyons in 5th. Lewis Kent will be classified in 6th. It's Ollie Taylor, though, who is the big winner here at Croft. Dan Lloyd out of the race on the opening lap of this second encounter at Croft. That means he will be 31 points behind, going to Donington Park.
That's what we came for this weekend. Yeah, great start, and off we went. It's good fun as well, you know, not being in that pressured environment, just yeah, really working with the car, and yeah, brought it home. Pyro Motorsport obviously putting a fantastic car under me as always, so yeah, it's been great.
I kind of known all along that we've had the capability of doing it. We just really need to get it all together. I could see where he was strong, and I knew where I was stronger. And it was getting out of that last corner was just killing me lap after lap. And I'm thinking, he's going to get me the next time, he's going to get me the next time. But we just managed to keep enough of a gap in the right places. And, you know, he could have had some kind of crazy lunges and some people wouldn't. He didn't, so I appreciate that.
Ollie Taylor is a race winner and a genuine championship contender. Do not miss Donington Park, the final rounds of the championship, because the racing is going to be intense. This championship is going right down to the very end.